What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Jocelyn Knows Sports. And as you see, I got a little fancy. I got a little intro going on now. And speaking of fancy, I'm very honored today to have the great Coach Jennifer Constable gracing me with her presence. If you don't know her, I'll go on and on and on. So I'm going to give her actually a little chance to kind of tell everyone her name, where she's from, what she represents, and why she is so legendary to me.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. Definitely warm welcome. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Again, for those who don't know me, I'm Coach Jennifer Constable. Everyone knows me as Coach Jen. I've been involved in flag football world for well over 20 years. I think around the 24-year mark now. Just building flag football from the ground up, grassroots projects back in 2003 with the youth. Coach high school ball. I coach with USA football. I actually just got promoted from scout to a USA Select Bowl coach. I'll be coaching the USA Select Bowl national team in June. Thank you, thank you. Former very first NCAA Division I head coach at Alabama State. Very proud of how that program started out. And then now I am now currently the head coach of San Diego State University's club program for the flag football team. Yeah. Thank you.
A little bit and combine three questions into one. As
Okay.
you kind of give the background of intro into flag and what you do now,
Yeah.
how do you see the evolvement of flag football? Because I always think it's so different for someone who's been in the game as long
Yeah.
as you to see it on television now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. When I started in 2003, NFL flag was literally just a grassroots project. It was just barely coming out. You're talking to these kids about, hey, you want to play flag football? And they're like, what do you put flags on your hips? No, I play tackle. I don't play flag. What is that? Um, and it was just a really nice alternative for our community who really at the time needed some sports, needed something for the kids to have an outlet instead of just run around and get in trouble. And that was what my husband and I just did. We decided, you know what, we got to get back to our community somehow. And what's better than football, right? There's something special about every sport you play, but nothing brings a community or families together like football. So that's what we did. We started the very first NFL flag affiliate in our state, in our Southern California area, and we did that for many years. So to see where it came from kids mentality of I don't play flag, this is crazy, to having NFL guys playing against national teams, and just that dogfight, just that sideline talk, who's better, the smack talk is so phenomenal, like from the men's point of view, but even for the girls point of view. Like I've coached the very first all girls team in 2005, and it was literally me just telling girls, hey, you want to play, why are you sitting in the sidelines, get up, let's go. And then they grab some friends, and they grab some friends, and next thing we were out there on the field playing with all the boys. We took some whoopings, we gave some too, but at the same time they learned so much more about themselves, and that was what was most important to me, was building it for them, giving them back something that I wish I had at their age. And now seeing them as moms and coaches, and kind of extenuating that what they've learned from flag football to where they are now as adults, is phenomenal. So seeing the growth, not only just in the broad spectrum of collegiately and high school and on television, but the growth in the individuals who participated from early on to now, seeing what they've become, that has been the most phenomenal point for me.
I bet I can only imagine, like, because that is a big leap
Yeah.
from like what 20 plus years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And then shout out to the men's team. People may not realize that they actually did win.
They did. They not only win, they completely destroyed the NFL legends out there, right? And it's funny because it all started with a little sideline chatter of, you can't compete against me, and the NFL guys going, yeah, we can, until they realize, no, they can't.
Show you better than I could tell you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so speaking about your influence, I met this wonderful lady named Melissa Miles. I was at the
Okay.
Under Armour All America
Yeah.
Girls Football All Star Game. And she
Uh-huh.
told me how, you had been a mentor to her. And I think she mentioned maybe two or three women's flag football stars that you both have somehow impacted their lives. And then, as you know, I met you through Alabama State. We'll kind of
Right.
get to that question a little bit later. And those young ladies have so much warm regard and wonderful things to say about you. How do you feel your legacy, your impact, your mentorship has just evolved over time in your imprint that you're putting personally on women's flag football?
I just have always kind of taken on as a personal responsibility. I feel like there's not enough women, especially women in sports, who have the ability or have the want and desire to really give back what they've lacked. And I felt like that's something that I needed to do. I grew up playing sports. Everybody I've ever had as a coach was mainly men. I had one significant female coach in high school. She has a very famous last name of Gwen, comes from a very positive baseball background, and she was a huge influence on me. So that was something I always kind of tried to emulate. It was giving back that. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom to 5, grandmother to 1. So I have that mom mentality that these are all my kids, and I got to treat them as my kids. That I protect them and I teach them and I lead them in the right way. So you'll ask any kids, and I still call the kids that are in college my kids. You'll ask Alabama State girls, what did they tell me? These are my kids. And I treated them like their mom. I had no problem getting the 2 o'clock in the morning phone call. Hey, coach, I did something dumb. Can you come get me? Yep, I'll be right there. I'm going to yell at you on the way home, but I'll be right there, you know, because, at the end of the
Warranty.
day, yep, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's what they need, and it's coming more from besides the athleticism, right? They just need that extra belief, that extra hope, that extra push to show them what you're really truly capable of. So as far as legacy, if no one, I've said this before, if no one ever remembers my name at the end of the day when I'm long gone, but they remember the people that I've been involved in and the young women who I've been able to give some hope, and that what they've directed and what they've done with their lives, if that's whatever's left of my legacy, I've done the right thing.
Well, I think they're going to remember your name first. And I do remember us first meeting, and you told me you had this. When she said she's a mom, she's a mom. I was like, girl, you got your own football team at
Yeah.
home. I'm right here coaching.
Yes, 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 yes. I 2 years ago I adopted 2 small children, and the biggest blessing of my life. Sometimes I think I'm too old for this, but then they remind me I'm still young at heart sometimes. Sometimes.
Kids will keep you young.
They will keep you something.
So we kind of touched into a few things there. Hit on you were the inaugural coach at Alabama State, right? That's how I first met you. How did you
Right.
go from your time at Alabama State to being the head coach over at San Diego University? Like, how did that transition happen for you?
Yeah, I was planning on being in Alabama for a very, very long time. The first year, you have those first year bumps, and I was ready for that. And that's just kind of things that happen. I just at the end of our very first season, having conversations with the athletic department, it just didn't seem like our visions had aligned for what I was trying to produce out of that program, and then what the athletic department wanted as a whole for the public relations and the actual vision of the team. I have a very strict mindset as far as how things should be developed and foundation built and stuff like that. And it just didn't seem like those things were aligned. I feel like I gave them a great foundation. I recruited, I feel very well enough that, the young ladies who I recruited her there now are making the impact that they should be making. Cause I know what they're capable of. And I feel like that's been a great positive turn of events for that team and that program. So right after our first season, that summer, I came back home and I actually started working back with Los Angeles Rams. That was part of the initial plan, was I would come back during the summer and continue my work here. So I work in a community impact and football development team with the Los Angeles Rams. So we do go into the community, like lower income communities, bring football to kids who may not get it otherwise, and just be involved in Southern California for that. And especially for me, I'm huge in the Girls Flag Initiative. So get back into doing that. I returned back to my high school where we actually won California State Division III championship. Great, thank you. We had a great group of young ladies who really we started off a little struggle, but found our heart, found our passion again, and was able to pull that off. And was able to secure that CIFD3 Coach of the Year title, which is definitely nice to get at the end of the day after going through a hard, rough start. But going into San Diego State, it's funny because yes, thank you. But going into San Diego State, it's funny. My daughter's actually a freshman at SDSU, so she's the one who actually said, "Hey, mom, guess what? They're bringing flag football to SDSU. I'm just dropping that little bit of knowledge to you." So I said, okay, well, let me reach out and see if they need any resources. So with San Diego State, it's considered an RSO, which is this type of club program. San Diego State has always been kind of on the fence the last couple of years about actually bringing it on as a varsity sport. They're more of the let's wait and see how this evolves, and if it's something we really want to invest in. And they made it up to the decision of let's see if there's anybody on campus, student wise, who want to take the effort to build this out. So two young ladies did. I reached out and said, "Hey guys, I'm here. I'm an advocate for anybody in women's sports, and especially young women who are trying to build this. So if you have any resources, I got you guys." Ended up having a meeting with them and turned into being the head coach. So that's how that kind of worked out. But again, it was about me making sure that they had the resources they needed, flag belts, footballs, getting them in the right areas for contacts and stuff like that, which has been fantastic. We've had a great community outpouring of support. I've had many alumni reach out saying, "Hey, listen, we've been donating our money into these other programs. We want to donate it to you instead." So that's been fantastic to see that this school now they're forced to take notice of how much of an impact and the return of investment that these girls are putting in themselves, so that the school can, hopefully transition to a full varsity sport after year 2.
Love that. I love to hear that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it kind of goes into my next question where I kind of want to talk about, I think all of us in the flag community, women's sports in general, are excited about flag football becoming an emerging sport next
Yeah.
year. Can you kind of give us a little take of what you think that means for the sport, especially for some people who are not as savvy of what that actually means on the college level?
Yeah, so once NCAA hits the golden number of 40, right? We need 40 schools within NCAA to have it as a varsity sport to become a championship sport. Now it's fully up and running, and we're almost there, right? There's a lot of NCAA schools who are not only adding it as a club, but adding it as varsity sport. I know Menlo College. I just had a conversation with their vice president just recently, and they're ready to go. They're hiring for a coach right now at the D2 level. So just to have it across the board at that 40 school mark, I think we're almost there. We're almost there. You give it another year or so, we're there. But what that means for women in sports in general is now there's another option, right? Softball is so flooded. Track is so flooded. Let's talk about basketball for a second, right? It's everybody wants to play and everyone is an athlete, but now it gives those kids who are on the bubble, right? Those softball kids who are excellent outfielders, but maybe just lacking one little thing. They have all that athletic ability to be great outside receivers, great safeties, right? So transitioning those athletic abilities to flag football and then earning the same education at a great institution, hopefully scholarship sport, now gives them the avenue to continue playing a sport, being active and getting their education, which is most important. I've always told every kid I've ever talked to, I've ever coached, listen, this isn't about the next 4 years of your life. This is about making yourself a great person in a great position in life for the next 40. You want to be able to get what you earn and be a part of something that you're not just present at, but you're an active member of. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And if you're a lower level sport player, like at any of the sports, right? Any of the sports that are already being impacted hardcore with all these kids in the recruiting world, but you can potentially translate that into making you a standout in flag. Shift, pivot. We pivot in life every day. Pivot and make yourself resourceful in another aspect so that you can still continue on and go on and play and be a college athlete and get the education you deserve.
Well said. And I think to me, that's one of the reasons why I've had so much admiration for you over the years is you speak more than just the sport. I think a lot of times when it comes to the collegiate athlete, people
Yeah.
leave out the college part of it. So
Yeah.
I think it is very important as we start to get these NIL deals and these
Yep.
scholarships for these young ladies to understand like getting your education and securing your future is still the priority, not the bag.
Yeah, and I've acquired a lot of different mindsets over time, right? You meet people who are like, I'm recruiting the best athlete. I don't care. I'll get their grades fixed. And I'm like, if they're a 2.0 athlete in high school and they're struggling, what are they going to do when they get to college? How are they going to be able to time manage themselves? How are they going to be able to get to class and do their work and be able to still manage those 5 a.m. workouts, those 8 o'clock, training class sessions? I am huge student first. You get kids and those kids who aren't the student first. I think as a coach, it's your job at the high school level or at the club level to reintroduce them to the fact that that's what they need to be. Because once they hear it at that earlier stages in life, by the time they're seniors in high school getting ready for college, it's already right embedded in their brain.
I agree 1,000%. I agree 1,000%. So I'm gonna come to my last question here. And this one is kind of broad, but
Yeah.
I think that's from your scope of not only flag football, but women's sports in general. It's a time. It is a time for us in women's sports. I think statistically, you've seen like the WNBA finals produce
Yeah.
numbers higher than the NBA finals. Like you said, we have professional softball. The women may won more gold medals in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like you name it, women are dominating across every sport. Can you express the importance of not only us women supporting each other, but our male counterparts? How important is it right now in this season to continue investing into women's sports?
I mean, I will definitely always be the advocate of women thrive when we lift each other up. That's definitely been a huge push for me. Like I will always, if I'm a biggest cheerleader of every woman in every aspect of every sport. I don't care if you're the greatest ping pong player in the world. I'm on the sidelines screaming your name. So and it's huge because we need that. We need that for each other. But most importantly, we do need the strength and the voice of men. There's too many times us as women in this space we come across of being too dominant. To you know what I mean? We're I've been many a times told that hey, you're a little loud. We're a little scared of you sometimes, and it's not about that. I'm not trying to impose this like making anyone feel inferior, right? Um, but there's something about that male voice standing beside you, not in front of you, not behind you, but right beside you, saying, "Hey, listen, this is what needs to be done. These women out here deserve the same respect. They deserve the same attention." That brings notice, and especially the men in higher roles, to be able to elevate that and just speak kindly and speak positively of these young women coming up. It holds major volume. You got NFL players who are dads who are speaking specifically on flag football because their daughters are playing it. So now it's important to them because it's important to their daughters. You've got a lot of women who are affiliated with different sports or husbands or who are married to husbands that are in the NBA or Major League Baseball who are now sitting on boards talking about how important it is for these other women to get involved and be huge advocates for things. And again, it starts with a lot of that help because, let's be real. This is a man's space, right? We're not expected to be here. We're not expected to have a voice. We're not expected to know the things that we know. So being able to have a partner in a male that says, "Hey, listen, I'm here to help elevate you," is huge. And I think this is the time, especially with all these young women, to visually see and hear these men take a stand and take a step up for them. Holds them with more regard for these men, but also gives them more hope in their own future.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm a big advocate of women, right? I tell people I support women on and off the field, but
Yeah.
I would be remiss to not say that I've had a lot of males open doors for me, probably a little bit more than women in this space, because as you said, it's kind of male dominated. And if I hadn't had their support, just like other women haven't had their support, we may not be growing and evolving in this movement of
Yeah.
everyone watches women's sports right now. So shout out to all the men out there that be holding us
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I will definitely give a shout out to Mr. Mo Streety. He's the one who actually brought me on to the LA Rams. He actually found me at a Nike camp. He walked over and he was like, "Hey, can I video those drills? I've never seen that done like that before, and that works." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, video all of them." And then I left that day with a job offer in hand. And then my good friend Anthony A
That's
Train
what's
over
up.
at the Dallas Cowboys, he has been a huge, huge supporter in everything that I've done. Anytime there's anything involving women in sports, he's usually the first person who gives me a call, like, "Hey, I got you. Like, let's get you on board with this and other things." And it takes men like that. It takes men who understand where we're coming from, and they see that we're really doing this for the love of the sport, but to help other women and other young girls build it up. So when you get men like that in your corner, you got to give them the love. Yeah.
You know that's right. I know that's right. Well, Coach, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to tell the audience? What's up with San Diego State? I seen y'all been running the table too.
Yeah,
Honestly, I've been watching.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, anybody in this, Southern California area, anybody wants to support San Diego State, we definitely need the support. Like I said, this is student ran. Couple girls decided, hey, we want to do this, and I said, I'm here for you. Let's get it going. But not only San Diego State, please, if there's colleges nearby you, if there's young girls starting club programs, be a supporter. Go out there and see what you can do to help advocate for them, help give them the right resources. Sometimes it's nice to sit and watch and like, hey, look what they're building over there, and then flip and scroll, right? It takes 2 seconds to just send a message. Hey, listen, we see you. We appreciate you. If there's any help, let me help you in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, women's sports thrive when other people help and elevate, and it doesn't even have to be always women. Like I said, I'm a huge supporter of that. But when men take a stand and say, hey, listen, I see what you're doing. Let me help you build. Let me help you get the next generation where they need to be. That's definitely huge. I'm repping my SoCal dream in here. This is my club program. This is about the kids. This is all kids. We do youth kids, and just introducing them to the game and putting them in different tournaments and opportunities to experience flag football at a higher level. And that's where it really starts. It really starts at this level here, that 12, 13, 14-year-old group. People, don't be afraid. Get involved. Get out there. Even, I've got plenty of women to say, hey, well, I've only ever coached basketball. I was like, well, let me teach you a few things, and you go out there and reteach it to somebody else, So definitely, definitely. It's our duty. It's our duty as women in sports. Go out there and help elevate the next one.
I agree. Well, there you go, everyone. That is Coach Jen Constable, one of the goats of women's flag football, and I appreciate her for coming out today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode to any woman out there who is trying to get into something new or pivoting. I mean, she hit it on the
Yep.
head. We all pivot daily. I'm the queen of the pivot, honestly.
Hey, I'm telling you.
So make sure you're tuning in with us, and just like that, we're out.